Hi PEP stars, welcome back to my channel. In today's class, we're going to be looking at the 2023 curriculum-based test. I'm joined by my student, Karen Bart, and we're going to be going through the paper together. So let's share the paper to the screen. So there are 40 items on this test, and each question has only one correct answer. All right, question 1 reads, the label below from the control knob of a steam iron is from the control knob of a steam iron. Examine it carefully. Let me zoom in. Examine it carefully, then use it to answer items 1 to 6. And we see the control knob there. Move on to the questions. And there's a key. What happens when the control knob is on 0? Let's look at what is happening there. On 0. What happens when the control knob is on 0, Karim? Let's look at the options. The iron is on. The iron is off. No water is in the iron. Steam can be produced. Would you like to answer this question, Karim?
Yes, miss.
Go ahead with the answer.
B, the iron is off.
Okay, and let's just double check. Yes, that's correct. So 0 means the iron is off. I'll just take the correct response. The iron is off. Let's move on to the next question. What is most likely to happen when the control knob is moved to a setting under steam range? The iron begins to cool. The iron uses less electricity. Linen might be burnt, or the iron becomes warmer. Let's look at the steam range. Okay, so these are the steam range, and the iron is at 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. And the key reads that the 1 is warm and 7 is the hottest. So we realize that the temperature is increasing for each of these fabrics or type of fabric. So we know that the iron doesn't begin to cool, and we don't know if it uses less electricity. Linens might be burned. That's also not correct. So the iron becomes warmer is correct. Move on to number 3. How many settings are there below the steam range? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So okay, 5 is an answer. 5 is correct. Correct answer is 3. Which statement is true about the types of materials listed on the label? Linen materials need a warm iron. silk materials need a very hot iron. Cotton blends and cotton needs the same temperature, or polyester and rayon need the same temperature. All right, so we know that cotton blends need 4 and cottons need 6, so that's not the same, right? And I'm looking here and I think I've already found the answer. Polyester and rayon need the same temperature. Are you seeing that, Karim? So the correct answer is D.
Yes, miss.
Let's move on to number 5. Which of these materials is likely to be burnt if the iron is on 5? Is it cotton, silk, linen, or wool? So wool is correct to be on 5, so that's not the one. Let's look at silk. Where is silk? Silk is literally below the image. Let's look at the other answer. What was your answer for number 5, Karim? Karim, what was your answer for number 5?
Uh,
Let's look back at let me bring it up back to the iron. So we know it's not, I think it was, let me look back at it before yes, we know it's not wool because wool is okay for 5. Cotton is above 5, so we know it's not cotton. All right, look at it now. It says which one of these materials will burn if it's on 5? The options are silk, wool, cotton, and linen. Which one was your answer?
silk.
Silk would burn, right? Because it's the one that needs the lowest temperature, right?
Yes, miss.
If the iron is in the off position, right? How many settings can the control knob be turned to? So it's in off. Let's look at the settings. It's in, if it's off, let's count all the different settings. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's your answer, 7, Karim? What was your answer for number 6? Let's look and see if 7 is there. 7 is the correct answer. Because we counted and we can see that there were 7 other settings outside of off. All right.
Yes, miss.
All right, so let's move on to the next question. It says the following notice was placed on a bulletin board. Read it, then use the information to answer items 7 to 11. Notice, oh boy. Notice, students who wish to try out for the swim team are being advised that there will be no training on October 2022 to November the 24th, 2022.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, Karim?
You said there will be. You did not say there will be.
There will be training. Thank you. So Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Tuesdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. with Mr. Hasserly. Thursdays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. with Mr. Chambers. Sign up for the day that is more convenient to you with the principal's secretary, Mr. Stephen. Permission slips should also be handed over or handed to her at the same time. Signed, Mr. Brown, Principal, September 22. Principal, September 22, 2022. No student will be allowed to take part in training unless they are properly attired. Okay, so number 7. To whom should permission slips be given? Let's look at the answer. Who should the permission slips be given to, Karim?
Can I see the answers, miss?
You want me to go back up to the bulletin?
Yes, miss.
Okay, who is it? Are you seeing the answer?
Yes, miss.
Who should get the permission slips?
The
You want me to go back to the options?
yes, miss.
Are you seeing the answer on the bulletin?
Yes, miss. I know the answer there. Mrs. Stevens.
Yes, so the answer is Miss Stevens because it says that sign up for the day that is more convenient to you with the principal secretary, Miss Stevens. Permission slip should be handed to her at the same time. So the answer is Miss Stevens. Let's move on to number 8. Convenient to you is being used in reference to whom? The person trying out the swim team, persons not properly attired, the principal secretary, or the principal. And the correct answer is A, persons trying out for the swim team, because they will sign up when it's convenient to them. We just read the sentence. Move on to number 9. The notice was most likely on the bulletin board at a national stadium, a school, a community center, or a swimming pool. Let's look at the notice one more time. Okay, so it's definitely at the school and it refers to the principal and it also refers to the swim team, which is more likely the school swim team. Let's move on to number 10. What is meant by properly attired? Persons turning out for training, should ensure that they get permission from parents, wear uniform, wear swim gear, are all well rested. And the correct answer is to wear their swim gear. Number 11. Which evidence best suggests that swimming is an extracurricular activity? It begins in October. Okay. It begins in October. Participants have to be properly attired. Mrs. Caserly and Mr. Chambers are in charge. It begins at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Do you want to answer this question, Karim?
No, miss.
Okay. So what do we know about extracurricular activities? Karim, what time does the extracurricular activity normally start? Isn't it usually after school? So
Yes, miss.
if the classes begin at this time, it's usually after school because most schools end at 3. So that tells you that it's an extracurricular activity. All right. So the correct answer is D. It begins at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Let's move on to the next question. The two sources below are about detergents. Read them carefully, then use them to answer items 12 to 17. Characteristics. So we see the type of detergent: Tide, Persil, Proclean, all free and clear, Armor or Gain. And we see the prices here, the volume in liters, the stain removing effectiveness out of 10, the scent, whether it's scented or unscented, and whether it's environmentally friendly, and that's out of 10. And then we have source 2. The title is Persil Proclean. Persil Proclean. Though Persil has only been on sale in the United States since mid 2015, it has long been a best-selling laundry detergent in Europe and other parts of the world. Our multiple tests reveal that Persil removed an average of 2% more stains than Tide detergent, an American favorite for a generation. While that difference isn't clearly visible to the naked eye, it does not make a difference over repeated washing. And that's how Persil eked out a win over a long-standing favorite. Plus, Persil Proclean dissolves faster than all other detergents. At most retailers, however, Persil is more expensive than Tide or Value Pick. While the gap isn't extreme, over a year's worth of washing with Persil Proclean Power Liquid, it can add. Our in-house survey and review of online opinions also show that many customers think Persil smells too sweet, which may be a turn off. Still, if stain removal is critical, Persil is the undisputed winner.
Around in my screen.
And let's move on to number 12. The table in source 1 may be described as an example of a compare and contrast, time sequencing, problem and solution, or cause and effect. So let's look at the table. The table seems to be comparing the different detergents. So the answer is compare and contrast. All right. Which advantage does Arm and Hammer have over all the other detergents? Look back at the table. So the price is not the cheapest. The volume in liters is the same. The stain removal effectiveness out of 10. It looks like that's the advantage, but let's look at the other options. It is also environmentally friendly because it has the highest mark. So let's look at the advantage. Eco-friendliness, yes, and stain removal. But these were two, but let me look back at the table carefully. Carefully. Yes, Karim, you wanted to say something?
No, miss.
All right, let's look at the eco-friendliness. It does look like it's at an advantage more. For pencil pro clean, the stain removal has more than Arm and Hammer, right? So the correct answer is eco-friendliness. Are you seeing that, Karim?
Yes, miss. Miss, I'm gonna charge my device.
That's fine. Oh boy. The wrong thing I ticked. All right. Which is the same among each of the detergents examined? And I know it's the volume because I've already looked at it. All of them are 2 liters. Number 15. All right, number 15. Based on the evidence from the 2 sources, on which or on what basis was Persil Proclean determined to be the best detergent? We know that it's stain removal, and yes, in the package it says it's also dissolved faster. The answer is D. All right, let's move on to number 16. Which detergent has been the popular choice for consumers in the United States for many years? And that was also stated in the passage to be tied. Let's just check back on those two. And I remember what is in the passage, but I just want to show you. Okay, so the only other detergent, as I said, mentioned in the package is Tide, and it said that it was the best, or the most popular, by the way. And for Persil Pro Clean, it's here. It says it's dissolve faster than that.
Yes.
Okay, Karen. So we looked at two questions in your absence, and these were the answers that were selected. All right, let's move on to number 17. On me, man. All right, number 17. Based on the information in the two sources, which would be a fairly accurate conclusion? Detergents that are eco-friendly are more popular among consumers. Consumers take several factors into consideration when buying detergents. Detergents that are effective in removing stains are sold at cheaper prices, and consumers prefer detergents that are not scented. So based on the table, there was look back at the table while I'm speaking. So more consumers preferred scented detergents, and the eco-friendliness of the detergent doesn't necessarily, let me just look back at the answer. I can refer correct. Yes, they're not necessarily more popular. And let's look at the stain removing detergents and see if they were sold at lower prices. I think I already know the answer, I'm just ruling out the others. Let's look at stain removal. The truth is that the Pencil Pro Clean is the most effective for removing stains, and it's actually the most expensive. So that's also not correct. But we know that there are many characteristics that are taken into consideration, such as the price, the volume, the stain removing effectiveness, the scent, and the eco friendliness or environmental friendliness. Those are taken into consideration when purchasing detergents. So it's safe to say that consumers take several factors into consideration when buying detergents. And let's look at the article. The article will be used to answer items 18 to 22. All right, let's read the article. If you've ever used WD-40 to oil up something squeaky in your home, you may have wondered just what does WD-40 do. According to the company that makes it, WD-40 literally stands for Water Displacement 40th Attempt. That's the name straight out of the lab book used by the chemist who helped develop WD-40 back in 1953. Norman Larson was attempting to develop a formula to prevent corrosion, a task which is done by displacing water or moisture. Norman's persistence paid off when he perfected the formula for WD-40 on his 40th try? WD-40 was first used to protect the outer metal of aircraft from rust and corrosion. When it was discovered to have many household uses. Larsen repackaged WD-40 into aerosol cans for consumer use. And the product was sold to the general public in 1958. In 1969, the Rocket Chemical Company was renamed after its only product, WD-40. As the product began gaining traction, it exploded in popularity. Everyone loved it. Employees at the Rocket Chemical Company took some home. They discovered that it was useful for loosening bolts, removing paint from surfaces, cleaning carpet stains, and removing glue residue, among other home uses. So it wasn't much of a surprise that 5 years after its invention, the miracle substance appeared on the open market in 1958. Today, it has become a must-have for householders. Number 18, in which year was WD-40 first developed? Refer to the source. It looks like 1953. Let's look at that and answer. So 1953 is in fact right. Which is the most appropriate heading for the article? WD-40 for sale, many uses of WD-40, the Rocket Chemical Company, or Norman Larson. Which one would you choose, Karim?
I would choose B.
B is correct. So in the passage, we can see that there were many uses of the WD-40. Very good, Karim. Let's move on to number 20. How did WD-40 get its name? The company had been around for 40 years. Norman Larson was 40 years old. The inventor got it right after trying 40 times, or it was made up of 40 different chemicals. Let's look back at the passage. It said that Norman the persistent paid off when he perfected the formula for WD-40 on his 40th try. So that means that he tried or attempted to make this product 40 times and he got it right on the 40th try. So the correct answer is C. Number 21. Which paragraph has the most evidence of the success of WD-40? So look back at the passage. Students, we have to try to become avid at reading comprehension passages because there will be a lot of reading comprehension passages in the curriculum-based test. And if you see me keep constantly referring to the passage, and that's exactly how you're going to maneuver answering these reading comprehension questions. all the answers are in the passage, so you have to keep referring back to the passage. All right, so we want to know which paragraph speaks of WD's 40 success. It's not C. It's not paragraph 3. I shouldn't say C. It's not paragraph 3. Let's look at 1. 1 just talks about how the name was developed, and 2 talks about how Norman made the product. All right, so it's definitely the last paragraph because it speaks more to the success of the product and that every household owner or householder needs a bottle of WD-40 in their house. And it also talks about the product gaining traction and exploded in its popularity, and everyone loved it. So that is paragraph 4. All right, for what purpose was WD-40 first developed? To prevent squeaks, remove glue residue, prevent corrosion, or to remove spilled paint. Go ahead, Karim. Your hand is raised to answer the question.
Yes, Miss, option.
Okay. I'm just giving you the option to look at the passage first. Why does it look like that? All right,
The answer, to prevent corrosion.
very good, Karen. So it was first invented to prevent corrosion and rust from aircrafts. All right, so there you have it. We are finished with the first section. So I normally do the videos in 2 parts, just so that we don't get entirely worn out. I know that the attention span is short for many of us. So I'll stop at question 22 for this half of the video, and then I'll continue at question 23 to 40 for the remainder of the paper in the next video. All right. So that's where we end for this video. Be sure to watch both videos because that will give you an idea of all the questions that came on the 2023 Language Arts Curriculum. See you in the next video.